Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Borderline Hooligans podcast. To the right of me, I have Brady.
Present.
To the right of him, I have Mr. Cat Ears over there, Alex.
Ooga booga.
To the left of me, I have my good buddy, the alcoholic Brennan.
Ahoy, ahoy.
And for the first time ever, we have a pig on the show. Who is also my brother, Cam.
Salutations.
Our first guest.
Our first guest.
Thank you for having me.
That's not a part of our staff.
First official guest.
Yeah.
Take it as you want. Anyway, Cam, what the fuck is Brady going to drink?
Today, I brought in something from my personal collection. It is some Screwball peanut butter whiskey.
Ooh, I've
You can actually taste the peanut butter in this.
Just so you know, whoever pours it, whatever much gets poured in there, somebody's got to finish it. So
I'll finish it. If you want to mix it with Coke, it kind of tastes like a Reese's cup.
That somebody is you, Brady. You're going to finish it.
absolutely not.
Brady, you fucking alcoholic. We know you will.
I can finish this amount probably.
If you can't, I'm calling you a pussy.
Bottoms
You
up.
know, I'll call you a pussy anyways. You're a fucking
So
pussy.
So either way, it
You're a pussy.
doesn't change anything.
Hey, Brady.
Totaling pussy.
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 What do you think, Fat Sticks?
I'm amazed you can actually taste the peanut butter in that.
It was lying.
Like, that was the first thing I noticed was the peanut butter.
Yeah,
Can
it's a
you
good
smell the
one.
peanut butter?
No, I couldn't smell the peanut butter.
No.
Strong peanut butter taste though.
Okay.
It's almost not just peanut butter; it's like peanut butter chocolate taste. But
Mm-hmm.
not saying it's high on the list.
All right, where's that going on the liquor?
It's on the liquor list.
Yep.
Obviously above Parrot Bay because he fucking hated
Wait.
that.
Why do I have Dickel at the top?
Because you said it had the least amount of bad aftertaste.
Really?
I'm pretty sure
The
it
Crown
is.
Apple you said just tasted terrible. It just tasted
No,
like
you
Oh,
know,
no,
he
you're
didn't
right.
like how much it burned him.
yeah.
It burns.
That and the Parrot Bay burned his. I don't know why the Parrot Bay did because that had the least amount of alcohol
I
of
hate-
all those three.
I hate to say it, but
You
the liquor
expect-
list is awfully small. Cam, this is going at the top of the list.
Oh,
Oh my god.
I don't have a whole lot of good choices on that list, though.
you guys would like to try it?
We might have to.
What is this? Salt Creek?
Definitely an aftertaste.
Screwball.
Though. It's just
Screwball.
stuck there.
What the fuck you say? Salt Creek?
I don't
Like
know
the
why I
band.
said Salt Creek.
Got some
Don't ask
country
me.
music on his
Okay.
mind.
Is it a band?
I just lost my beer. Oh, it's over here.
How do you lose a beer?
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. I'm disoriented. I
We're
was
so
I
wasted
feel like
right
a
now.
dog who's got peanut butter stuck to the top of his mouth. Like the flavor of peanut butter is
So
just
you're gonna keep licking your lips
just
for the
there.
entire time?
no. I'm just saying, like the flavor is stuck there.
Do you like the flavor?
Oh, he never does. He always hates the flavor. It's
Pussy.
nothing fucking
Aw,
new.
Brady,
Brown
you
apple
never.
whiskey has been the closest one to being like something I could probably stomach drinking.
So would you like to try it then with the Coke then, like he said?
I can try it if you guys want to.
You want me to
mix it
just
whatever
pour-
ratios
You want to take a sip out of his drink, or you're
I'll
right with
pour
that?
it out, or
I can, yeah, whatever. As long as you're okay with it.
Pour one out for the
Well,
homies.
Brady's the germaphobe here, so Cam doesn't give a shit.
I didn't know what Cam's preferences were.
Pour one
you know?
out for the homies.
Smells a lot less. I don't know.
Alcohol.
Offensive. I don't know.
Offensive.
Offensive.
Are you were you offended by your shot? Is that what I'm hearing?
Cam wasn't lying. It definitely tastes like Reese's peanut butter cup.
So where does that rank? This is a
Well, I guess
2 for 1
that's
deal.
technically two.
This is a 2 for 1 deal.
Yeah.
So we put in mixes. Oh yeah, okay, it's beer
It's-
slash cocktail.
Yep. I am guessing right here.
I don't remember what Jack Melon tastes like.
Melon.
That was that one that you had last time.
I don't
That was
remember.
this stuff.
Looks like there's a
literally
little bit left to the
watermelon.
bottom. You want
It was literally this
Get
stuff.
the
I'm gonna
remnants of
say right below Twisted Tea, half and half.
Right below Twisted Tea, half
I
and
remember
half.
Twisted Tea not being the worst thing ever either.
No, you like that.
And that was Screwball and Coke, correct?
I'm not a huge of the chocolates. Reese's is like top of the list, but I'm not a huge chocolate guy usually. So
glad you enjoyed my cocktail.
nice.
Lean the microphone a little bit closer to you. You're a little quiet.
Well, he's
maybe
also-
up his volume a little bit, maybe.
His volume's maxed.
Oh,
Is this
It's
a little
just
better?
literally just how close and comfortable he is with it. He's not.
I'll get used to it.
Yeah.
You can,
Alrighty.
like, lean the microphone itself towards you a little bit too. Like you grab the microphone. There you go. That makes it easier.
Yeah, Brennan
for you.
used to have an issue with that towards the earlier podcast. We had to kind of
Force him to get
Get a little closer. He's a little
Make
quiet
out
over
with it a
shoulder.
little bit.
I'm probably the most comfortable with it, actually. I
Yeah,
use
you
it
use
the
it.
most.
Well, other than me, you probably use a microphone outside of this place. I highly doubt these two even use one.
I like to shove mine up my ass in my free time.
That's why it tasted like candy last week.
Yeah.
I know what he does with these.
I got
mics
some
in
really
his free
fruity
time.
shits lately.
You know what he does with these mics? You said?
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh,
The
he
reason
fucking-
why there's a flat screen in here. We all talked about this multiple times.
Can you imagine if he just made us go through an entire podcast and then was just like afterwards going, "Hey, just so you guys know, I stuck my balls and dick all over the pop filters before this podcast.
All over my cock and balls.
Just rubbed them all over. Got all sweaty first.
I'm glad I take my mic home.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but this has been since the beginning.
Yours is the safest.
Good thing I wash it.
Dude,
It's
No, he
sanitized.
doesn't. He does not.
I was
I
gonna
put my
say,
mic-
you do.
Sanitized.
I put my mic in the washing machine every night.
Oh, God.
Some people
Destroy
think
the
it's on
butter.
purpose, but I just leave it in my jean pockets.
Oh man.
Is that a microphone in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? It's actually a microphone. It is. Oh.
So I do want to bring this up because I just think it's funny.
Okay.
Last Saturday we went to the bar, correct? Like
Like
did our-
last Saturday, yes.
we did our King of the Hill thing.
Hank of the Hill.
Hank
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill. And we're all sitting at the bar, and normally we order some shots when we're sitting up there. And Brady doesn't drink, and we were trying to get him to like just try a couple of these shots because they're pretty good shots. And to us, we really don't taste the alcohol. But I was just curious. He said no. So the bartender kept making him the shots that we were having without the alcohol in them.
So one time it was just lime juice.
Like
the other time it
lime
was-
juice, pineapple
Yeah,
juice,
pineapple
some
juice.
like sour.
Sour mix shit.
I hate to
Yeah.
say it, I like
Yeah.
the lime juice. That was good.
Literally just lime juice.
I just thought it was hilarious. Like the bartender would get us to order shots and was going to start making one for him, but he's like, "Oh, I don't drink, so I don't need one." So she just made him like a virgin.
You would
version
also
of it.
sit there and wait to see how I liked it. Like, it's just pineapple juice. What do you expect? Yeah, it's good.
Brady's the type of guy. He'll go to a party. Somebody yells, "Body shots!" He's like, "I'll go first." Someone tries pouring alcohol in the belly button. No, I got this. Pulls out a lime out of his ass, cuts it open, squeezes it in the belly button, and then does that shot.
Yeah, the old lime in the prison wallet trick.
And it's not just like a
Squeeze.
slice; it's a whole.
It's a whole ass lime.
Yeah.
Yeah, he cuts in half himself, and the lady's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
No, what you do is you put it in as a whole and it comes out in slices.
Oh, that would be,
Oh.
that would be a trick and a half.
Okay, but who the fuck's gonna believe that? My
Brady's-
ass can cut limes.
Who says that's the only thing in his ass?
Brady's the type of
Brady, bend
guy.
over. We gotta check your asshole.
He
Brady's
has
the
a
type of
present
guy
shake in
to
his
pour
asshole
lime.
that slices the limes.
So Brady's the type of guy to like put lime juice in a girl's belly button and spend 15 minutes licking her feet.
Okay, question though: does he salt the feet?
No.
No, wait, no salt. You're gonna have to explain. What the hell does that mean?
You only need natural salt.
It's part of like the tequila shot.
Okay.
You take a tequila shot,
Got
you
it.
lick the salt, and then you do the lime.
I thought maybe there's
Yeah.
a reference I was missing there about salting the
Well,
feet.
It was a reference that you missed. Just not what you were expecting.
God.
He digs that natural salt flavor from her feet.
The natural salt.
The natural sweat.
Just the natural musk.
Ugh.
Of course,
Go
that-
ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you talk.
well, I was just going to go back to that night. The best thing was at the end, shots wise, whenever that guy said, if I had pocket sand in my pocket, he would
Oh,
buy
he
us
was
all
gonna buy us
shots.
shots.
That dude fucking lost his shit.
He
So,
did
like-
not care he had to buy a shot.
I was Dale Gribble, and one of Dale's things is that he has pocket sand. It's one of his self-defense mechanisms. He'll whip some out and say, pocket sand. And this guy we ran into recognized who we were after some talking. He says, if that guy right there has pocket sand in his pocket, I will buy all you guys shots. Sure enough, zoop,
Pocket sand.
Well, as soon
Pocket
as he
sand.
said
Right
it-
out of his asshole.
he's like, no way!
As soon as he said it, we all went nuts. Because we knew you had
We're like,
pocket.
oh, buddy, you are fucked.
He didn't care. He was excited.
Dude,
He was like, all right, what shot do you guys
Well, I
want?
mean-
and we were like, we want the fucking Rocky Top.
It was the
bitch.
Rocky Tops, yeah.
Yeah. Those are good shots. No, but it was only us and him and the cook in the place still, other than the bartenders. So.
Right.
It was like 1:30 in the morning about that.
It was late.
Yeah, we shut that shit down.
We all had fun. We all had a good time. It was a good time.
Mucho
Mucho
fun
fun.
up there. It's a fun bar.
It is a fun bar.
I mean, it's mostly just us hanging out with ourselves, and then 40 and 50-year-olds not bothering us. So
Nothing wrong with that.
occasionally bothering us, but
most of the time, it's just because they're my neighbors.
that guy we met that played we played Ted Bundy's like cousin, didn't we?
Jeffrey Dahmer's
Jeffrey Dahmer.
cousin,
Jeez, I'm
yeah.
thinking of a different serial killer.
Oh my god, that guy was fucking hilarious.
He was good at like
A
what he
plus. A plus.
He had the
Right there.
accent and everything. He played that one real well.
Just apologizing for his fucking buddy. He's like, yeah, we're gonna head out of here. Slams his full beer on the bush, or slams his full beer bush on the bar, walks out for about 3 minutes, and then just walks right back into the fucking bar. Like, you guys didn't fucking leave. You just wasted a $3 beer.
Yeah, that guy told us he was going to miss his bus like 3 times during the conversation, and then kept talking, and then proceeded to go over into the corner and talk to his friends for another like half an hour.
He didn't care.
Like either he just already missed his bus, or the bus was not leaving like he thought it was. I don't know.
He was an interesting fellow, to say the least.
He was. He was pretty nice though.
He was pretty chill.
It was.
And then the cook decided that I needed to find myself a cougar, so he started going around the bar and asking every girl if they're single.
First, he went around and counted how many people were in the bar and found out it was an odd or even number. Because if it was an even number, likely everybody had a couple.
Yeah,
He was thinking.
he wasn't thinking right though.
I didn't say it was right.
It's interesting logic, but
He ain't right, but he's got the spirit.
'Cause, I mean, there was 5 of us, and one of us is a couple,
he was also asking
or 2 of us were in a couple.
a couple people to like drive him to. So
Yeah, he was looking for a ride home.
You gotta bleep that now.
Yeah, thanks, Brady.
Fucking dipshit.
womp womp.
We need to come up with a punishment for that.
Reveal his home
Can we just
address.
take- How about rubber band, stretch it, and then fucking fling it into the leg or some shit?
I got rubber bands.
We just tell Brady's
Put on an
home
airsoft
address
gun.
live.
I have airsoft guns.
I know you do.
Alex has good stories about airsoft guns.
Which one you? Oh,
I think you already told it on the podcast.
we could say it again. I mean, you were there.
I was.
I didn't know you were there. I gotta hear your.
I was in the
perspective
back
from
seat
this.
with Aaron and that one female
no,
person.
No, he wasn't in the car. I
Oh,
thought he was in the
shit.
car too.
No, I was at the house, and I'm like, huh, someone got pulled over. Sure shit, I got a phone call. Hey, we just got pulled over.
No, I think it was Brennan in the back seat with me
I
then.
was not there.
No, it was.
Oh my gosh, my
it
whole
was-
memory's whopper jawed.
I know it was me and
Walker,
you, and then I think there was the guy with the screwed up black Chevy.
Yeah.
I think he was there, and then I think it was the 3 girls that were normally hanging out with us.
That's
that time.
right. Yep, that one
That
sounds
was-
about right.
That's who was in the car, and it was a picnic weekend, and the cop was just looking for DUIs like cops
Mhm.
do, and he claimed that I passed the white line when I turned, and I didn't, and it was like what time was it? It was like
Oh,
it was
it
almost
was right before curfew ended.
yeah, so it was
so
like right before midnight.
You were like 17 or something, so it's
I
like
was
midnight.
16.
16, so it was midnight. So
Yeah,
it's like
16 's
11:45.
Yeah, something like that. And he was asking why we were going this direction. We had people to drop. I was telling him people to drop off, and he asked me to step out of the car to talk to me. And then I imagined this was when he was going to give me like it's big, like be responsible, blah blah blah. Curfew's almost up. Talk. And I opened the door, and an airsoft gun in the door.
Airsoft shotgun.
Yes,
I sawed off
airsoft
airsoft
shotgun.
shotgun.
because I
This
used
keeps
it a
getting
lot.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used it a lot because I was like the dad of the group. I had a minivan. I drove people around, and when they got too rowdy, I shot them with the airsoft shotgun. And I don't know. It was terrifying.
Yeah. My point of view, so I was sitting in like the middle seat, and I knew that was in the door from the minute he got pulled over.
Oh
no.
So this whole time, the cops talked to him like normal, like I pulled you over for this and this, and He goes like, all right, I'm going to talk with you behind your car here for a minute. And my hands went on the headrest in front of me because I knew what was about to happen. He opens the door, the cop does, and he looks at what appears to be a sawed-off shotgun, and his hand goes to his handgun real quick. And he's like, everyone's like getting their hands up, and he's like, hey, you need to come back and talk to me right now. And he grabbed it. Yeah, he grabbed it first and made sure it wasn't real. You could feel it was plastic at that point. And
You can see the orange tip too, because
That's
that was
the
before
thing.
I painted it.
It's got an orange tip, but it's also shoved into the door. So
Yeah.
you can't see the tip.
And from that point on, I was like, oh, man. Alex is going
Alex
to
is
go to
getting
jail.
shot. Dad's going to jail.
I still think the best part of that story is that I forgot to put the car in park because I was so
Yeah.
nervous. So I went to step out, I let off the brake, and the car started to go. So I had to hop back in the car, and he freaked out.
You're like, Alex.
You are really lucky that we live in the area we do.
It was a statey too. It wasn't like a sheriff. It was a
I know.
statey.
But if we lived in like the inner city, you would have got shot.
Probably.
No
Yeah.
questions asked.
All right. My favorite part of the story, though, is like after everything was said and done, Alex got in the back in the car, and like we had all the windows rolled down because we were trying to eavesdrop on what was happening. And Stady comes up to the three girls in the back seat and was like, all right, how many stories am I on tonight? He's like, I
Yeah.
could see your cell phones going off. I could see it.
How many Snapchat stories am I on? No, I still find it hilarious because he asked me about like tobacco and beer and stuff that we had in the car. We had my old cooler literally stuffed full of beer under a blanket in the back. I had a pack of cigarettes in my breast pocket. And he asked, and I said no. I think at that point he was just like, I don't want to do this paperwork.
It do be a lot of paperwork.
You would know, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You have any interesting stories about your job that you can talk about at all?
Oh yeah, I actually do. This one doesn't involve any charges, so no one can come at me because I never gave anyone any citations or tickets or nothing for that matter. So I was driving around like probably a month and a half ago, and I was on a back road. It was probably a little after midnight, and I work in a small village, and I know every road. I mean, I might not know the name exactly, but I know where it is and where it's located in town, north, south, east, west, direction wise. I'm driving down this back road, and it's a Friday night, so I had two people working, and the other officer is tied up on like someone parked at a closed business, and it was like a little after midnight, so it's past curfew, and it was a teenager, like a 16-year-old, couldn't be out driving about anymore. So he was waiting on someone to come pick them up. So I'm driving the back roads, making sure no one's garages or houses are getting broken into. And I'm coming up on the side road. I had to see this dude passed out on the road using the curb of the road as a pillow. So I called into my dispatch. I'm like, hey, I'm out on this road, yada, yada. I see a male passed out on the road. I go up and I'm talking to him, and I shine like this really bright flashlight right in his eyes. I'm like, hey, buddy, you all right? And he's like not responding, and I can see his chest moving a little bit. So he's like, all right, looks like he's breathing. So I'm like, hey, buddy, wake. Then I like start jabbing him with my foot a little bit, trying to get him to stimulate him to wake up a little bit. And he turns around and he goes, I'm like, hey, man, what's your name? And he goes, fake name. So I'm going to use John since it's so common. It's not his name. He goes, John. I'm like, hey, John, what you doing? Are you all right? He's like, I'm trying to get home. It's like, well, where do you live? Because you're not home right now. You're on the road. And he's completely out of it. He's really, really drunk. So I radio into dispatch. I'm like, hey, this guy might be overdosing because like he was breathing labored and talking really slow, which is a sign of a depressant use. So I don't know if he took pills or heroin or anything. I still wasn't planning on charging him. I just wanted to make sure he got help.
Yeah.
So I call dispatch like, hey, get an ambulance over here. Let's get him checked out. At this point, I call it out, and the other officer, he frees up, so he comes running over here, driving over from across the town, and he comes to back me up, and he just comes up, and this guy's still laying down on the road, and I kind of like look at him like, hey, I don't know what to do. I'm at my wit's end here. So we get him up and talking, and all of a sudden, this woman appears out of nowhere and just goes, "That's my boyfriend. That's my boyfriend." And we're like, okay, well, I mean, is he okay? He's like, yeah, we've just been drinking since noon, and it was like a little after midnight at this point, like 12:30, 1 o'clock ish.
Nice.
And we're like, oh, okay, so he's just really drunk. And we're like, yeah. And we got his, he didn't have his wallet on him, so he didn't have an ID on him or anything like that. And his girlfriend told us his real name, and is like, the other officer's been on for a long time. He knows everybody in the town and their fathers and moms and all that. And goes, oh, they pulls me aside. He's like, hey, this guy's kind of a turd, or his dad's kind of a turd. He gets in illegal trouble every so often, a couple times a year, whatever. They were like talking to him, like, hey man, did you take anything? You know, we just trying to get off the street, not necessarily charge him.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, I don't do that crap. I'm paraphrasing because he was really drunk and saying it really slowly. I'm like, all right. And at this time, the ambulance shows up and he gets loaded up and he starts giving an attitude to the EMTs. I was like, this whole time I had no intention of pressing charges, but if he's gonna like be rude to the EMS, I will be give him a ticket for public intoxication. It don't make me no difference. So I tell him to calm down, otherwise he's gonna get a citation. And he starts crying on me. He's like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything like that. I was like, all right, buddy, just don't let it happen again, all right? Let them check you out. If they think you need to go to the hospital, you're going to the hospital. He's like, all right, whatever. They check him out, and he's being a turd, and I end up opening the back of the ambulance and yelling at him again, like, hey, this is your final strike. If they tell me you're acting a fool one more time, you will go to the hospital, then jail.
Whenever he started crying, were you ever like, Jesus, man, pull yourself together a little bit?
So I was thinking about it. However, we got to be understanding and professional. So
No, but you definitely thought of that, though.
oh, I definitely thought about it.
Don't you guys play good cop, bad cop? Play bad cop. Pull yourself together, man. Slap.
There are too many cameras for that nowadays. But no, I don't think it should be done that way at all. So I'm just kind of more the, hey, what you're doing is really not okay, but I've never seen you before. You don't seem like a troublemaker. I'm going to let you go with a warning this time. Stay out of trouble type deal. So
And then if you see him next week, then you're just like, okay, this might be a problem.
yeah, this guy's a turd.
You know what
So
the funniest thing is? He gave me enough details to figure out I actually know this kid.
You're kidding me.
I haven't seen him in a long, long time. He is buddies with a neighbor of mine. And back then, he just seemed like a normal kid. Like, he didn't seem to get into any trouble or anything. But whenever I pulled up a picture on Facebook, I was like, is this the kid? He's like, yeah, that's him.
yeah, like I said, this kid's dad is a little bit of a troublemaker, but he himself, I mean, I looked his name. He didn't have any criminal record or nothing. So
Yeah,
I'm guessing he just had too much to drink and passed out on the road walking home.
Way
Yeah.
too much.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Not crying or anything, but
No.
Jesus.
You never
like
been
that.
crying drunk?
No, not crying drunk.
I've been crying
I
drunk
may know a
multiple
guy
times.
who's been crying drunk a couple times.
A few times.
Yeah, let's not. Get
No, we're not
that
gonna get
stuff.
into it. I'm just
Let's
saying
not
I've
delve
been-
into the past here.
No.
Last weekend.
Last weekend.
He cried whenever he figured out the cook counted an even number. He's like, sorry, bud, they're all taken. Fuck! So, anyways.
Damn it.
So last week at work, I had something interesting happen to me. So I was working by myself. My coworker and my boss were out doing other shit. I was working at this apartment in the bigger town west of us.
Okay.
Or, sorry, east of us. And anyways.
Weast.
But anyways, so I'm installing new trim into this house, and the apartment's so small that I just set up my saw and everything outside. I don't have to clean up a mess. Fucking perfect, right?
Yeah.
So I'm cutting this piece of trim, and I just hear this guy from behind me on a bike go, "Hey!" Like probably 50 yards away. I'm like, okay, he just wanted to wave and get my attention, so I waved back. About 15 seconds later, he catches up to me. And the guy obviously has something mentally wrong with him, but he was a very nice person.
Yeah.
He was very hard to understand him. So I had to ask him to repeat himself about 3 times before I could understand what he said. And like he just asked me what I was doing, why I was doing it. I'm like, I'm getting paid to do this, bud. He's like, oh, okay. And then like he pointed at my shoes. He's like, your shoes dirty? I'm like, yeah, they're dirty. They're meant to be dirty. They're my work boots. Like, I don't expect them to be clean. And as I'm saying that, he's pulling out a white rag out of his back pocket, and he's gonna shine my shoes like he was on the train tracks back in the frickin' 1920s or something. I'm like, no, sir, you don't have to do that. He's like, oh, okay. And then like he takes his helmet off because he was riding a bike, and he was very safe about it. Put his helmet down. He asked me if he could go inside the apartment. I'm like, no, this is a job. Like, this is a work job site right now. Like, I can't let you in. It's not my property. I don't want you going in there and then causing a ruckus or anything. Even though it was just me by myself, I just wanted him to go away so I could go back to work.
Yeah.
And then I could obviously tell that he got offended by that. And like he just like pouted his head a little bit, walked back to his bike, put his helmet back on, and I swear to God, as he's riding it away, he's like, "Whatever, honky." I was like, "What the fuck was that?"
Oh my gosh!
Oh shit! He just called me a honky. And when I tell you, I ran inside the apartment and laughed my ass off because that was the funniest fucking thing that's ever happened to me on the job site.
Oh my gosh!
I was like, I did not hear that right. And the best part is, that probably happened around 10:30, 11 o'clock. It was probably about 3 o'clock after school had let out. I see this guy walking, and I see the same guy on his bike because he has the American flag on the back of his bike flying in the wind. And he's like making a beeline towards this guy this guy that's walking, right? I'm like, oh, this poor soul's about to get it. I'm eavesdropping from a distance away. I see this guy pull out his rag, bends over, and he starts shining his shoes. I'm like, oh, his buddy got the shoe treatment over there. And then they're staying there for another 10 minutes. I'm like, man, I feel for this guy just trying to get his jog in right now. Because you don't want to be rude to the guy, but at the same time, you want to get on with your day.
You don't want to be real. He'll call you a honky.
If you piss him off, he'll yell white racial slurs at your ass.
Fuck you, honky.
A part of me just want to yell back, what the fuck you say to me, cracker? And just like, be a part of the team, right? Like, no.
Oh my
Again, I
gosh.
don't know if honky is exactly what he said. That's just what I heard. He could have been saying something completely different, but I just thought it was fucking hysterical.
How many
He
things
asked if
could
you
he
wanted-
have said though that could have been? You know?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
He wanted to know if you wanted to play field hockey.
That's the only word I could think of as well that was similar was hockey.
I just thought it was the funniest fucking thing. I was like, oh, this is going to be a great podcast story.
So before I was a police officer, I was an EMT for a private ambulance company, and I have a couple of good stories from when you work in public safety. You meet people you never knew would have existed, and one of them was a gentleman. He weighed, I think, 650 pounds. He was completely bedbound. He was like 35 years old, something like that. He lived with his mom. His mom gave him everything he ever wanted, so he never left the house.
So pretty light guys, what
Yeah.
I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have our power cots that help save our backs, so we're not lifting people up that weigh that much, plus the weight of a 100-pound cot. And this guy, so we got a total of 750 pounds. We're pushing, me and my partner, and my partner's my buddy. So we go to this hospital and pick him up to bring him home. It's a hospital we don't normally go to. It's like 45 minutes away from where we're stationed, but hey, someone's got a paycheck, so our company's like, yeah, we'll take him. So we go pick him up, load him up on the cot, and we go to put him in the back of the ambulance, and this ambulance fucking squats whenever we get the cot attached to it. And I felt bad for the guy, but all his mannerisms and his behavior just screamed fat guy energy. So, I mean, he kind of did it to himself, and he says he can walk, and he just doesn't like it. And I'm like, all right, I understand, but you're putting a lot of people's backs at risk here, and whatever.
Did he groan more than you guys whenever you transported him?
Yes.
Maybe on the bed.
Yes, because our cots, they have like wings that flip up from the sides, so it's designed to be able to give them as much space as they need. They like swing out like this kind of, and they go down like all the way down, so like here, and then they like kind of they're designed to give people as much space as they need, and we had it like completely down, and this guy was like complaining his sides were being pinched, and we were like looking at him like, dude, there's nothing pinching your sides, man. We don't know what to tell you. You're just gonna have to deal with it for the next 45 minutes while we drive you home.
The fact that he said that I can walk, I just don't want to, tells me all I need to know about this guy's attitude.
Yeah, so we finally get him home, and the automatic lifting system on the cot squealing like
That
Whenever-
machine is putting in some work.
it is. They're rated to 650 pounds, and this dude was.
I gotta ask you, do you have your heavy equipment's license to be operating something?
I do not.
Did you know
OSHA
forklift?
finds out I messed up.
Are you forklift certified?
I am not. He wasn't that big, but the biggest kicker of this story is we got home and like there's a really, really good incline going into his house on a sidewalk, and we're just like, we're gonna have to push him up that. And he's like, no, it's fine. You like let him out right outside the ambulance. This dude stands up and walks up there like nothing happened. Like, are you kidding me, dude? You could have walked all the way. It took a lot of work not to chew him out because I mean he's a patient. We gotta respect him, and we showed our due respect. And he used
It's
us
all
for the
over.
free lift.
Yeah.
I can walk. I just don't like it.
Turns out it's actually his fetish to be carried.
Oh no. That's why he was moaning on the whole time.
Exactly.
When
I
I
love
grow
a
up, I
couple
want to be
nice-
Jabba the Hutt.
I love a couple nice, strong boys like you to carry me around. Oh,
Herbert the
Nuts.
pervert if he weighed 700 pounds.
Oh god.
oh damn it.
Dude's like 10 years older than I am, so but
Just think, Cam, that'll be you in 10 years.
yeah, I know.
Oh,
Keep going the
shit.
way I'm going, man. So another pretty good story I like to think about is actually with coworkers, not patients. So we had these two coworkers, they're two females, and then me and my buddy, who's another dude. It was like Halloween last year, and they're all big into Halloween. They're like, oh, Halloween this, Halloween that. They got Halloween tattoos and that type of thing. So we were like, all right, we're gonna scare them. It was a very slow day. For some reason, Halloween was very slow. So all four of us are just sitting at the station, chilling out, watching TV, whatever. And then they go out to do a quick run. It was like to the hospital to the nursing home across the street. It would take like 40 minutes total till they got back. So we came to plot, me and my buddy, and we're like, oh, dude, we're going to scare them. And my buddy, he does a really good Scooby-Doo impression.
Oh no.
No.
Like he can do the laugh and everything. And basically what we came up with is we found a little Bluetooth speaker that has a very good volume for its size, and we put it underneath one of the couches, and we recorded him saying in his Scooby-Doo voice like, Scoob, that's my balls.
Oh no.
So our idea was we're gonna hide in the office, turn all the lights off, duct tape the light switches down so they can't just easily be flipped up. It takes some work, and it took like 40 minutes to complete this plan. It took all the way till they got back to complete it, and we were just sitting there in the back office in anticipation because they can see that our ambulance isn't gone, that we're still there, and they know we're trying to scare them. So they open the door from the ambulance bay and they're like, are there any monsters in here? And what just catches them off guard is when we press play at the loudest volume possible. Like, Scoob, that's my balls. And he just plays it like every 5 seconds because we were going to choose between that or just like looking up scary monster sounds on YouTube and playing those over and over again. And I tell you, these two girls were petrified. They're like, oh my god. And they're like sweeping the freaking room looking for us, and it's pitch black, and they get to the light switch, and they're like, we just hear them yelling, it won't turn on, it won't turn on. So we're just like waiting for us to find them, and we're in a back office with the door open to the main room that they're in, and we're just waiting for them to enter the room so we can just scream as loud as we can. And what they ended up doing was they went back into the ambulance bay, grabbed a cot, and like one of them was like standing on top of it while the other one was pushing it at its max height. And the one girl is like 4'11", so she's like 7'2" now. But she's like standing on top of it with a broomstick ready to kick our ass while just freaking we're trying to jump out at her, and we're like looking at her because we're looking at each other because we can see her, and we don't want her to fall and die. So we're like, do we do it? Do we do it? And we're just like, fuck it, we're doing it. So they enter the room on this cot person combination, and we just scream at them as loud as we can, and they scream just as loud back. And after like 2 seconds of screaming, everyone just busts out laughing. It was a pretty good story.
I don't know why, but I really like the idea of taping the light switches down. Like something about that was an extra little bit of attention to detail that I like.
It was a
Mhm.
nice touch.
If we had the time, we were gonna go to the back and find which breaker it was and flip the breaker.
So much simpler.
We saw on our Life 360 all the station phones have, so if it gets stolen or ambulance, we don't know where they are. I guess management can see where they are. We could see that they were on their way back, so we didn't have the time to do that.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Do you want to tell your other story that you have with that speaker with MJ?
Oh yeah.
Oh jeez, here we go.
This
So-
is good. You're gonna love
Okay,
Yeah.
just quick question before he continues. Do I have to bleep that or no?
No,
it. MJ, no.
Michael Jackson is what it stands for.
Oh, okay.
You could have said it out loud.
No, I didn't want you guys to fucking know.
Oh, okay.
So now that you know the big secret.
Damn.
So my partner and I, my buddy, we are the pranksters at the station. We had a really cool supervisor. He didn't mind practical pranks at all, so we played him as much as we could.
His hinges one time.
Yes, one time he pissed us off, so we took his door off its hinges to his office, and we didn't know this, but he had a job interview, like an applicant come in the next day.
Oh no.
So he had to do a job interview with the door open. And our HR guy was there for the company, and he was like, yeah, I'm not impressed. And our boss was like, yeah, I really don't care. I'm going to chew him out for you so you don't have to. And then after the interview, the HR guy went back to the main station, and our supervisor was like, guys, that was pretty funny, but didn't appreciate it. You might have to bleep that name out. But,
I'll bleep it. Don't worry.
all right. So anyway, back to the Michael Jackson story. Regarding this Bluetooth speaker, we would hide it in the office and crack, like, our boss always kept the door closed, but there's like kind of a window that you could look into it. It's kind of a weird setup for a station, but we would crack the window just ever so slightly open when we would have the 10 hours of Michael Jackson noises playing on like a minute volume. And if you've ever seen this video, there's a 10-hour loop of it. And it's just Michael Jackson going, oh yeah, and shit like that. And we just left it playing on a very minute volume. So it could be like pitch silent in the station. And we had a night crew that came up at like 3 a.m. They usually go up there and sleep because there's not too many runs at that time. And I just imagined that the night crew, which was like a 60-year-old woman and a 22-year-old dude, I guess, were just like sitting there trying to fall asleep, and they just hear, oh yeah, just like really silently. And they're like, what the hell's going on? And we came back the next day at 10 a.m. and it was still going. So they did not find the phone it was connected to, and they didn't turn it off. So all night I just know that they heard it, and probably intermittently, if some noise came on, they wouldn't be able to hear it. But if it was just dead silent, just hearing Michael Jackson noises on repeat. We found another video of on YouTube of Michael Jackson. It's like 10 hours of silence with intermittent Jackson or Michael Jackson noises. So you would just hear like nothing coming from the video, and then really loudly at like once every maybe 20 minutes, just really loudly, oh yeah, like Michael Jackson saying it. Exactly. And one of the captains came up that night. We thought it was going to be the old lady and his partner again, or her partner again, but it was like one of the captains, so like one of the night supervisors came up, and he called us the next morning. It was like, yeah, I don't know what you guys did to the station, but we did not appreciate it. And he's just like a really like stone cold guy. He don't like jokes. And was like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. We played dumb, but he knew it was us because we found it and it was turned off. So
Damn.
He got annoyed and he hunted it down.
yeah, he was done with that.
I like the subtlety of that, like just how you play it quiet.
Yeah.
Like at that point, somebody hearing it could probably be like, "Hey, like, be quiet. Like, you hear something? Like, you think you're going nuts?"
That was our goal, psychological warfare.
It's the best way to torture someone.
We had 2 people quit. They pleaded insanity.
I don't know about that. I guess.
We had to drive them to the mental hospital.
Yeah, they
Sent it to
quit.
Michael Jackson.
They quit. Went to the hospital. Then we had to drive them. And everyone was like, "Yeah, we don't know what you're talking about." The ghost of Michael Jackson does not haunt the station.
You guys want to listen to Billie Jean on the way to the hospital?
So this was a story told from your guys' point of view from like 10 years ago. I remember. It was told on the podcast a while ago, like last year. It was whenever we were walking around town. It was the middle of summer one year.
Oh no!
And I was wearing an Eskimo hat. And for some reason, it was like, I don't know, 8, 9 o'clock or 9, 10 o'clock at night. And we see cars passing by us. They were like, I think I came up with the idea. It was like, "Hey guys, I'm going to get on the ground. You guys pretend to beat the shit out of me."
But it was just him, though. Like, none of us.
Oh, so it's just,
No, I'm pretty sure I came up with the idea. I'm like,
Okay.
"Hey, Cam, get on the ground. I'm going to pretend to kick the ever living fuck out of you."
I know
All
I was
right.
not involved in the kicking part.
yeah, you were
I
like
know for sure.
riding your
I
scooter
was the
around.
only guy kicking.
I was on rollerblades, actually.
That, okay, yeah,
I
you rolled.
specifically remember not being able to run away. I had to rollerblade away.
Dude, I remember that because part of your plan was like, "Yeah, I'm just here pretending like I don't know how to skate or rollerblade or whatever," and you're sitting there like a baby duck, like flapping his arms, and you're like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm innocent in this
At that
matter."
point, I'd only known how to do it for like a week, so I pretty much was in that state.
But anyways, Mom bought me like an Eskimo hat. I don't know why, but I was wearing it in like July or August or something. And so I'm laying on the ground wearing this hat, and Aaron's pretending to kick the absolute shit out of me, and I'm going, "Ow, ow, ow." And this lady in a car, like, it was like in a church parking lot off of one of the side roads of our town. This lady in the car just stops. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then we ran away.
Yeah, you got up, and Aaron runs away, and you guys run the same direction.
I could only imagine if she'd called the cops, like, "Yeah, there's this kid beating up an Eskimo kid."
I wonder if they think about that every now and again.
Dude, I hope
Remember that
so.
time we were driving through that town? That guy was kicking that other guy?
I
Yeah,
really hope that is something that like they'll randomly bring up. Like this is a story they tell too.
it's a
I really
party
hope so.
tale.
Like I said, I hope they listen to this podcast and be like, "No fucking way."
That would be hilarious.
It was an older person, so probably not, but
You never know.
never know. You're right.
We should put it on put that story on TikTok. Hopefully, one of the grandkids finds it. It says, "Hey, maybe you told this story from the other point of view."
Sounds like a plan.
Talking to TikToks, what the fuck is our TikTok, Alex?
Our TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram handle is BL Hooligans, and on Twitch, YouTube, and Spotify, you can find us as Borderline Hooligans. And I'm sure if you want to know if we're on any platform, just look up Borderline Hooligans. You'll probably find us.
Nice plug.
Oh, thanks.
If you notice that we only have like one TikTok, you can go to Twitter and yell at Alex to make fucking TikToks.
I have 2.
No, you had one as of the other day,
Yeah,
but
but I made 2.
Okay.
I made 2.
You just haven't posted them yet, or
I don't have the TikTok account.
oh,
I gotta work on that.
Yeah.
So it's not on him.
Yeah,
I'm
Aaron.
not making more.
Aaron's
Not on-
personal Twitter handle is.
At him.
Look at me trying to force out the blame on Alex. What a prick.
Hey man,
If you want to yell at me for anything on this podcast and you want my personal Twitter, it's Jackal Rook. End the story.
Hey!
Oh,
Okay,
You
so
want
us mentioning accounts kind of leads into the story I forgot to tell last week. So I'm gonna leave out details so that nobody listening to this podcast knows what the channel is. But I don't know if all of you, but most of you here know that I had at one point had a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well, it's been about 2 or 3 weeks now, but I actually got a YouTube strike on my YouTube channel. And one of my videos removed for child safety. I will admit, I was like
4 years old.
14, 15, somewhere there. And my whole channel was throwing knives. But at the time, that's all I ever posted on the YouTube channel. But only one video got removed. But they did give me a hard strike for that. Well, I got, like, I couldn't post for, well, obviously I don't post anymore, but I couldn't post for
It's like
certain amount
7
of time.
days. The first strike
Yeah.
is, I think.
But then if you get 3 of them, like, they just ban your account. So theoretically, if they just went to every video, they could ban my account right now.
So, was there any sort of activity in this particular video that was so flagrant that they needed to flag it?
I tried looking through, like, the reasoning for putting a strike on it and deleting the video, and it was just, like, something with child safety. It didn't say anything specific. I tried watching through it. It was no different than any other video.
Brady throws knives at passing cars.
Of yours. They never bothered clicking on the channel link. They just saw the video.
Well, I imagine what it was is that someone looked up like knife throwing or whatever,
And then seeing
found your
This
video
kid isn't being safe.
and and flagged that one video.
Well, the thing is, how are they able to prove that I was the age? Like I was a kid. You're at that age where it's not like extremely obvious if that's a kid or not.
Brady had a mustache when he was 15.
I did.
Yeah, he did.
So,
Actually, younger than that, I believe.
yes.
Yeah.
Brady was 8 years old, rocking the goatee like his dad.
No, not that far. But like, I remember, you can review it and say like, hey, this isn't something you should get strike for. So I did that, saying like, hey, I wasn't a kid, even though I know I was. Hoping to get the video put back up, and they were just like, no. They sent me an email back like half an hour later. We reviewed it again. It still goes against our guidelines.
That's strike
Screw you.
2, idiot.
No, they didn't do that.
Strike 2.
But there was nothing I could do at that point. It just, they said, that's it.
How horrible is YouTube that A, they didn't find your other videos, and B, it took them this fucking long to find it.
Yes.
It took him almost 10 years.
Here's the thing. YouTube's guidelines for that kind of stuff are very vague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can go back and they can say that this or that was wrong and deserving of a strike, and they don't even have to explain why. Oh, it just violates this vague code that we put forth.
It's like that with a lot of social media anymore.
Brady
Like that with a lot of laws, too.
Yeah.
Brady
I'm sure you would know.
Yeah.
Brady probably wrote back, "Hey, I'm 23 years old right now. You can't do that to my video," as it was posted like 10
Yeah, they can
years
see
ago.
what it was. That wasn't that. I will admit though, I had a series where I would just like every other video, all I would do was just pick a random set of knives and just throw them. It was just my way of keeping a weekly basis of posting, but not having to come up with a super different idea. Because like I would review different knives, do different things. I didn't have to actually come up with like a new idea every week. It gave me every other week, but it also just still put a content out and allowed me to keep up at the time they really liked consistency, keeping with a once a week.
Everything still likes consistency.
Mm-hmm.
That was like huge at the time. That was the main thing they looked at. I was trying to stick on that. So the whole series was just me just throwing random knives. So it was no different than like 8 other videos. Why that one got picked, I have no clue.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Eeny, meeny, miny, 8 strikes.
But I literally was looking up a YouTube video on how to do something, and YouTube was just like, just so you know, you get a hard strike on your channel. And if you violate it again, get fucked, you know?
Well, I'm sure there's a couple of videos that I've made that could probably get a hard strike for, just for what I've said.
Yeah, Alex put the hard R and a couple words in there.
I bleep them, but yes.
Mm,
I know I've said, like, the F word, that's a no-no on YouTube and all that sort of stuff multiple times in those videos, and calling people a pussy, and yeah. For comedy purposes, but still. I'm sure they can give me a hard strike for some of them. But no one watches my videos, so I'm safe.
That's what I thought too, apparently. But
You just watch, Alex. 10 years down the line, here it comes.
yeah, they really sneak up on you there.
That one
Yeah.
fucking Indian guy got fucking Brady, so.
Thing is, I still use this channel for like watching YouTube and stuff. All the people I've subscribed to and all this stuff. So, were to get banned, I would have to figure out who I was all subscribed to again, I guess.
Well, maybe it's that, like, one person that just, like, went through his subscribers and went, oh, this guy has a channel called Oh, I should bleep that. Sorry.
You're getting on me for saying stuff that he believes.
Yeah, and I realized it as I said it.
So, anyways, follow.
Hey, he already has to bleep it once. You might as well do it again.
Actually, I have to mention, just because at the time I was making these videos, I wanted no one to know about it. I still want no one to know about it because it's really embarrassing. But I remember I would go on the app iFunny and I would just post a picture of my channel logo and like, hey, subscribe to this. Like I was just shit posting just over and over again, different things. Or like I would say, hey, I made a video of this, check it out, just to try to get my channel out there. And Cam was subscribed to me on iFunny.
Yeah.
And I remember him getting pissed off at me. It's like,
I remember this.
quit promoting some random guy's YouTube channel. It's not even your YouTube channel. What the hell? Like, I'm trying to look at memes on iFunny. Quit doing that. And I was like, yeah, someone else's YouTube channel. Yeah.
Obviously never went to look at it.
Yeah, I did not.
I remember you being pissed off about it, though.
Cam was like,
Anyway, his iFunny name is.
Really?
Is that really it?
The fact that you remembered it. At the moment, I didn't even remember. Actually, that might not be the full. It might be close to that, but not exactly that.
All
All our
you
view-
better bleep
all
it then.
All our viewers.
Either way.
Yeah, I'll believe it. Don't
So
worry.
all our viewers are gonna be looking like on YouTube and like 15-year-old unsafely throws knives.
I'm gonna do that right now. See what the fuck pops up.
We'll have to bleep this entire section.
It's literally his entire channel.
Oh man.
my
That
God.
channel does not leave this room, thank you.
All right.
There's enough of spreading that.
Oh,
I only said that
hilarious.
because it was also your PlayStation name, as
Yes, it
I
was.
recall.
It was close. It didn't have my real name in the iFunny thing.
Okay.
But I think the other part was part of it.
All right.
I haven't been on iFunny in years. I
deleted it like as soon as I got an iPhone.
I
don't
still
think
have
I've
it
used
because
since I had an
he'll
iPod.
send me links to iFunny memes occasionally.
Every now and
Yes.
again, yeah.
The ones I send him.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
A lot of these people are a lot more successful at making YouTube videos than you are.
This guy's got 15 views. Suck on that, Brady.
Okay, I don't know why, but I typed in 15-year-old throwing knives and man shoots moose with his Glock after being attacked. Pops up.
YouTube knows what you're into.
It's only a minute long.
I will admit, I did have like several thousand views on my channel.
Yeah,
Like for,
his channel's a lot more successful than mine. Yeah,
but I
I watched
also
my channel.
was consistent and posted probably
For a while there, I
20,
was.
25 videos probably. That's
I think
an
I got, like,
estimation.
I think I got 12 out right now, and I was consistent for like 3 months
You found it.
or 2 months.
What are you doing?
I typed in your fucking YouTube, and there's just a fucking 14-year-old Brady holding a tomahawk.
All right, pass the phone around.
Pass it around. Pass it around.
That is so fucking funny.
So, another story that I know Brennan wanted me to tell, and it was alluded to in one of your first episodes of this podcast, was the time I brought my PlayStation 2 into my chemistry classroom for a week.
Yes.
All right. Before you start, though, I need another beer, please.
All right.
I believe I'll have one as well.
Yo, beer bitch.
That's right. We put our guests to work.
Yeah, we don't not pay you for nothing, Cam.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
No, I'm good.
Brady, do you need a brewski?
I don't think I'm good.
Please. Bush apple.
Wow.
Is this the last one?
I got more in my kitchen that we can throw in there.
Okay. We got more out in the kitchen. Alex says we'll be all right.
Yeah, there's still like half a case sitting in the kitchen.
Brady,
that we
would
throw in the
you
fridge.
care for some Dickel?
No, absolutely not.
It's at the top of the list, man. Come on.
It was at the top of the
This is
list.
top shelf
Well,
stuff.
do you want some more screwball?
No.
You want us to go to the bar and ask for a shot of lime juice?
I'd rather have that than any other options. Yes.
All right. So,
I just got can cum all over my face.
Nice.
nice. So,
Sorry, Cam, continue.
my senior year, it was about the time that senioritis kicked in, and me and my buddy were,
October.
yeah, it was actually,
I was
it
gonna
was
say
past
August,
football
but, like,
season.
It was pretty late. I
It was in
remember.
the spring.
It was January or February, somewhere in
No,
there.
it was warm out. It was like real towards the end.
Okay, so it was like April or some. So,
Yeah. Around there.
so
Anyway,
we had senioritis, and me and my buddy were teacher's assistants for the chemistry teacher because he had a back room, and he would just ask us to make coffee and copies of paper like once a month. So we're like, yeah, we can goof off with all these chemicals, not do anything. But nah, it wasn't the chemical supply room. It was an actual back room. And me and my buddy got into a conversation, and he didn't believe that I had the B movie on PlayStation 2. And I did. And he just could not believe that they made that into a video game. So I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to bring it in. We're going to play it. So I brought this little TV. It was like I don't know. It was a spare one we had lying around. Probably like 24-inch TV that fit in my book bag. And I brought my PlayStation 2 Slim in the same book bag because I didn't carry my textbooks. I didn't do homework.
Senioritis kicked in. You think I'm doing shit?
Yeah. I put it all in my book bag, and I was able to sneak it in without anybody asking any questions. Actually, no. I held the TV in my hands walking into the school, and no one said anything. So I put the PS2 in my backpack, though. And I set it up in the back room, and we used one of his spare extension cords to plug it in. And we're playing the B movie, and this game sucks.
I played it. I know the game.
It's terrible. But anyways, I also brought in some like actual games we wanted to play. Like I brought in a SpongeBob game. I was looking for my Shrek 2 game because that's actually a really good game on the PlayStation
That
2.
was fun as shit back in the day.
I did not know that existed.
I think we brought in Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is a god tier
Oh,
PS2
God.
game.
Classic.
Did you grab
Yeah,
Dad's
classic.
classic GTA? Liberty?
I have a story.
I
to
did
tell
not.
you after this, a little quick one.
I did not bring in GTA, but
Damn.
anyways, we're playing the SpongeBob game because it's the only game that was like we wanted to play that was quiet. And we didn't need the sound on, I guess. And I had it in there for like 5 days total. I brought it in on Monday, and I took it home on Friday because the first 3 days no one knew we had it in there. Then, well, I guess Monday, Tuesday, no one knew we had it in there. And then Wednesday, word got around and people would start going in there during the study hall to play it. I remember, like, we had this study hall-like period right after lunch or right before lunch, whatever. And everyone from our grade would just pile into this back room. It had, like, 4 chairs in it. There's, like, 20 people in there. And the teacher, he got suspicious of what was going on back there. So he comes up to us. He talks funny. So he goes, "Cam, why is everyone going in the back room during study hall?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I don't know, man." And he bought it. So I don't think he actually bought it, but he let it go for the time being.
He didn't look too far into it.
So the funny thing is, he's gone back there to refill his coffee because the coffee maker was in the back room. Multiple times he could see us staring at a wall holding a wired PlayStation 2 controllers. And he'd be like, "Hey guys, what you doing?" And we'd be like, "Playing PlayStation." Like, we told him straight up, we weren't gonna lie to him, and he was like, "Yeah, all right, guys."
I did not know he did that.
And then he'd grab his coffee and leave.
But you also gotta admit that between the two of you, because we all know who the second person is.
Yeah.
You guys would just bring in the controller too, just to fuck with him.
Yeah, we would have.
He, I don't know. I feel like he just probably had chemistry on the brain. He was.
Yeah, I don't think he was all too focused at all what we were doing. So anyway, he goes back out. We finish playing PlayStation for like 2 more days, and then Thursday comes around, and like I said, 20 people come to the back room. He comes in, "All right, guys, what is everyone doing back here?" And then he finally sees the TV with the PlayStation connected to it. And he goes, "Guys, does the principal know about this?" And we're like, "Yeah, we cleared it with him. He knows." And he's just like, "So if I ask him, he's going to say, yeah, it's okay." "Yeah, but I want to do that." He's like, all right, well, I want it gone by Friday. And it was Thursday, so we're like, yeah, we got another day to play. Hell yeah.
Gave you an extra day still.
Yeah.
That's so good.
But all the teachers that have had senior students know the senioritis
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Like, they know it.
Yeah.
Because I know because me and Cam and Brady were all in the same grade. During that year, I think I got into senioritis in like September.
Yeah.
It was like
Nice.
I didn't care about anything because I was taking an Art 1 class that I found out I didn't need to take on like the 5th day of school.
Oh,
It's
too
like,
late
you know,
to change.
yeah. So I was told like the 5th day of school that I didn't need to take Art 1 in order to take an art class for my art elective. I could take any art class.
Yeah.
And I wasn't told that till the 5th day, so I was stuck in Art 1.
No,
for the
you
rest of the
had to
year.
take Art 1 in order to take the other ones.
I was told that told after by the guidance counselor that I didn't have to.
Maybe since he was a senior, they were just gonna let him do whatever.
Yeah, it could have been that, but I was too late to switch classes. So,
Son of a.
and I remember like all of my art projects except for one. I think I finished in like a day and a half of class time, just like threw it together and done with it.
Nice.
And the ones that I didn't finish, she just like gave me an A on.
There you go. But so Friday comes along and the principal, or not the principal, the teacher, he comes in the back room and we're playing it. He goes, guys, I talked to the principal about this. He says he don't know what you're talking about. So I want it out of here by the end of the day. And I was like, yeah, I'll bring it home.
I remember my senior year, I was taking the class where you learn like robotics and programming, and it was me and like a couple other seniors, and then mostly juniors, which would be in Brennan and Aaron's grade. And I remember somehow we convinced the teacher to let us, we were building breadboards and we were like building op circuits, and it got talked into that we were going to bring in multiple cars and do like little cop chases with our little breadboards. Don't know how we talked her into it, but it turned into the next week of us just bringing in multiple cars from when we were a kid and just driving around in the classroom. And one kid even brought a drone. My
Oh,
cousin
wow.
brought a drone, and the teacher leans out the door, looks around to see if the principal's in the hallway, and then closes the door so we could fly a drone in the classroom.
We also admit that was one of the teachers that not care about it.
No,
Yeah.
When
great
she-
teacher though. He taught me a lot.
Yeah, she also taught math, and I remember her math class was like 2 days of teaching, and then the rest of the week you had in class time to do your homework.
Yeah.
Or like a day and a half of teaching and
Yeah.
then homework.
Mm.
And you had like a homework packet that you had to finish by the end of the week. And if you did the homework packet while she was teaching, she didn't bat an
Yeah,
eye.
she's not.
Basically.
Her teaching style was, I'm going to talk. It's up to you to listen or not. So,
Yeah. It was very prep worthy of college.
yeah. So another story I have from high school is accounting 1 class. I took accounting 1 my senior year because I wanted to take journalism because a bunch of other friends were in there.
Hell yeah.
And the one buddy from the earlier story, from the PlayStation story, he said, nah, we're taking accounting. So I took that as, everyone changed their mind. We're taking accounting instead. It was, no, me and him are taking accounting.
Wait, you're telling me you could have been in that class too?
Man,
Yeah.
If they were both in that
Oh
class,
man, that'd have been a power team.
oh my gosh. You could not top that class then.
So I figured that out too late, and it wouldn't have worked with the scheduling otherwise, so I couldn't switch. So we're sitting there in accounting class, and my buddy has had this teacher for like 2 or 3 years beforehand, and he knows how to get on her nerves.
Yes.
So one time during class, we're supposed to be doing accounting work in like Excel or something, and he goes to Google, finds a picture of like the teacher of this class and her family from like a church website or something. And he sets it as the back screen of his computer. So when she walks by, he would minimize whatever he was doing, and she would just see a picture of her family on his computer. Oh, it gets better though. After she walks by and goes, hey, this is really weird. Can you focus on work, please? He goes, oh yeah, that's my bad. I'm sorry. And what he does is he opens up like Microsoft Paint, and he gets his skull picture and cuts out his face and puts it over her husband. No, it puts it over her picture and then all of her kids' faces, so it looks like he's married to her husband. And then had kids with her husband.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
And she walks by and he just finished up, set it as background, minimized everything, and she just goes, "This is really disturbing. I'm gonna need you to focus on work now." And he's like, again, like, "Oh yeah, no, that's my bad. I'm sorry."
It's such a thing for him to do.
Oh, I love that.
Exactly something he would do.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that is
That
perfect.
slick son of a bitch.
Can I say a name so you can bleep just so everybody knows who I'm talking about one time?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a story about.
Oh,
Okay. So I remember during our
You
like,
just went.
yeah, we probably wouldn't know what you were
you
talking
were telling the story about him like the other week, weren't you?
Brandon's getting out his ear.
Does it smell good there, Brennan?
But during our time after or before lunch, that was like our study hall time. Like, you know, we changed teachers every day. Whenever we had that teacher that taught the class I was talking about earlier, whenever we had her, she had like this rule: if you ate something in her class, she like put your name on the board, and then you had to bring in that for everybody in the class. So every day we would get in there before he would, and we would write his name on the board, and then write like, it started with just like gum, because usually it was gum somebody had. And then after a while, me and the other guy that were doing this, we would start adding things, and this was all before he got in there, because he's always in there after.
I remember going in the classroom
So
and
we would
seeing
go in
these.
there, and we would write like a paragraph of things he supposedly like. I think one day we had spaghetti and meatballs, so we wrote spaghetti and meatballs. And he walks in, he looks at the board, and he goes, "Really?" And then, like one day he walks in there, and we had written an entire paragraph of like, it always started with spaghetti and meatballs, and then we just added on to it, and it was just like a full paragraph of things. And he goes, "How the hell do I eat that in class? Come on!" Like he would get so offended by it, even though he knew it was a joke. And the teacher would look at it and go, "Wow, all that in class, huh?" Expect to get it next week. It better be here.
Never
Whole
came.
class.
It never came.
I want my fish or my, what is it, salted herring or something.
Beef Wellington.
That was something.
You should have wrote like ribs from Outback or something.
We said it got really specific for a while.
Red
It would
Lobster
change.
Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Week to week, it would
You got
change.
frog legs coming next week.
Oh no.
He would come. It got to the point, like towards the end of the year, where he would come in and he would look at the board to see what he had ate this week.
If I were you guys, I would have just wrote down what you guys had for lunch at school.
That's what it started as the first time. It was spaghetti and meatballs, and then after that, every time we would start with spaghetti and meatballs, and then add to it.
So, our junior year Spanish 3 teacher,
Oh God.
Yeah.
I
I've told a
remember,
couple of these Spanish stories on his behalf, but this is going to be much better.
so I remember me and one buddy. It was always blazing hot in her room. Her heater didn't work correctly. It was either not on at all or it was working max 24/7, so it'd be 85 degrees in the classroom.
Or more.
I blame the last teacher for that.
Yeah, and every time it was hot in there, me and my one buddy would go pop open all the windows and be like, "Oh, Senora, it is very hot in here." And we just like pop open the window, like we need some fresh air, and go.
The best part is he would do it in like the middle of winter. Like
Yeah.
it is a whole 20 degrees outside.
So it's
But that room did get hot.
Oh, yes.
It was like
Senora, muy picante.
and it got to the springtime where it was nice, evenly comfortable in the room. It'd be like, "Oh, Senora, it is hot in here." And we'd go open all the windows, and she'd be like, "Lavate los banderas," or whatever it is in Spanish.
Oh shit.
And
So
so we,
Ventanas. She said the same thing to us.
yeah, so we'd close the windows and be like, "Oh, Senora, you never let it get cold in here."
Me and Cam were talking about this story the other day, but the 3 o'clock story.
Oh yeah. So we had another kid in our class. I don't know how it started. I think Brady mentioned that he started it once. Oh no, how it started was he would just start shaking his desk just like one time during class, and it'd always be quick enough that the teacher would turn around and not see who did it.
He would like pick it up slightly and then slam it back down, and then he would just sit completely like still afterwards, so she couldn't tell who it was. And she had a digital clock, so you could see exactly when it turned 3 o'clock.
So, yeah, so at around 3 o'clock, he'd start doing it like on the dot every time, and he sat right behind me, and we were messing with each other like during the class. Like I'd hide his book bag, and he'd be like, "Damn, why'd you hide my book bag?" Or like, "I can't find my homework because someone took my book
And she'd
bag."
be like, "Get out your homework," and he'd be like, "Sure wish I could, but I can't find my backpack."
Right, and eventually it got to the point where at 3 o'clock, like at 2:48, I'd start, or no, like 2:45 or so. It profoundly early. I would like look at him and be like, "Hey."
We would all look at each other and then look at the clock, and we all knew what that meant. We're like,
Like,
coming up, be prepared.
It's coming. It is like anticipation's building, and then like 2:59, we all stare at each other and stare at the clock. And as soon as it got to 3, he'd pick his desk up and slam it down, and I would shake my desk vigorously. It's 3 o'clock.
And we'd all like do a little spasm, like you would just kind of tense up real
Like a
quick.
seizure or whatever.
Yeah, nah, wasn't that bad. It was just like
Well,
Brady
like a
said,
little
tensing
twitch.
up.
There's a twitch, real quick.
Yep.
So
And
you're saying that all of you just developed Tourette's. It only kicks off at 3 o'clock.
Yep.
Yep.
But like the first several times we did it, it was a couple of us, and we weren't sitting directly next to each other, so she had no clue who was doing it. That was the best part about it, because she would look up and just look around and couldn't figure it out. We also did it during the exam. I
Yeah, she
remember
got
that
pissed.
year, she looked at all of us, and I remember she seen the clock was getting close to that time, and she looked at us like, "Do not." We were supposed to be completely quiet. He was like, "Do not do it." And we were like, "Come on, like we got to."
We've done it every day this year, Senora. You ain't stopping this. It's bigger than you and me now.
We were talking about this the other day too, but that same friend didn't take Spanish 3 because this happened in Spanish 2. And in Spanish 3, towards the end of the year, since we're all we weren't seniors, we were juniors at the time. But like towards the end of the year, things start getting a little less worried about grades, and you just kind of do whatever. That's buddy of ours snuck into that class and sat down. And so it wasn't at the same time anymore. So we just chose an even time. And then as soon as that turned that time, we all did it again. And she looks up and she realizes he's in the classroom. He's been there for like 15 minutes. Just sitting there at that desk. And she's like, "Come on, get out." But she didn't think it was funny at the time.
So it'd be like 10:50 in the morning, and we'd be like, "It's 10:50."
Because yeah, we hadn't done it since the year before, and it was the end of the year, so it'd been a whole year.
You know damn well that she missed that during the
She
day.
did.
That was funny.
She did.
I missed that. That was a good time.
I needed this.
So sophomore year, I think we had a different Spanish teacher.
It's freshman year.
Okay, freshman year we had
Yeah.
a difference. And so we're all freshmen and taking Spanish 1, and like most of the freshmen took Spanish 1. So it was like 3 or 4 Spanish 1 classes throughout the day. The one I was in, I'm not sure if Brady was in it or
I
not.
don't think so on Spanish
But
1.
we had this one kid, and he was eager to start doing dumb crap as a freshman. So what he would do with his friends was he'd walk by them, bend down so his head was right over their waist as they're sitting, and then cough really loud. So right over their junk, he's like, and he would get up and be like, "Ugh, why'd you do that?" to like the kids sitting, and just keep walking. And it got to the point where like the whole class was doing it to each other, like all the dudes at least. Oh man, it was funny, and someone did it to our one buddy, like sophomore Spanish, and the teacher was just like, "No, we're not doing that again."
I don't think it was doing that again. I think she was probably warned about it. Because I
Yeah.
think Wasn't it towards the end of our freshman year that we changed teachers or something like that?
No,
too?
it was. We finished out the year with that
Oh,
teacher.
my.
Okay. You might have just got warned.
No, it
about
was like 2 weeks that she left because they moved or something.
Yeah, because they were. I forget where they were moving to, but she was originally from Texas, and that's why the room was always.
Arizona,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I got a funny story about that room being so bitchin' hot. So it was just after Christmas, my 8th grade year. You know how we started in the high school? for
Yeah.
Our first period? Well, my first class for that quarter was Spanish. And baseball practice had just started for the high schoolers. And one of my buddy was a manager because at the time one of his older brothers coached the team or whatever. And so I get to school around 8 o'clock, 20 minutes to fuck off. So I would play this kid one-on-one on basketball, sweat my fucking ass off, go to class, right? Bitchin' fucking hot in there.
Oh,
And every single day when I left, there was a pond of ass sweat sitting in my chair.
Oh my gosh.
And you know what? I did not have the common courtesy to wipe that shit away. I let whoever sat there next class deal with
it's
it.
their problem.
It's their problem. It was no longer mine.
Oh my gosh.
I was a fucking
sanitary.
Cam, I don't know if you remember this one. Somebody here has to be able to tell it, but the Shine My Shoes story. In
Oh
Spanish?
yeah,
Okay.
I remember that one. You can tell it though, Brady.
I don't remember all the.
No,
all
this
the parts
asshole
of it.
talks enough. You fucking
Yeah, go
talk.
ahead.
Oh man.
You're our guest,
All
Cam.
right. So it was freshman Spanish. The one kid earlier, he had senioritis as a freshman. So as a freshman, we were taking his exams or something, and I wasn't in his class, so I don't know exactly how it went down. But they were taking their exam, and it was like a 2-day exam because they gave us 2 days during the week before Christmas or whatever. And what he did was he slept the whole first day. And then like 30 minutes towards it was like an hour and a half the first day you could take your exam, and then it was like 45 minutes the second day to finish it up if you had to, or go ask questions, review it, whatever. The second day it got to like 15 minutes till, and the teacher was yelling at him for not starting the exam yet. He's like, I'm not worried about it. He's like, hey, you need to start now, turn something in, or you will get a 0 and you will fail. And he's like, all right. And she walks away, and he just goes, I forgot to shave my pubes. And she turns around and is like, what did you say? And he just goes, I forgot to shine my shoes. And I'm like, that's not what you said. Go out in the hall. And he's like, no. Go out in the hall. No. Go to the office. No. All right, just stand outside the door. Yeah, all right.
Oh my gosh.
During his fucking exam.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And then he got yelled at, came back in with 5 minutes to do it, scribbled in answers in English on his Spanish exam. And then got a D.
Nice.
Did better than we thought.
You mentioning kicking somebody out in the hallway reminds me of freshman year. We had a different history teacher, and I liked him. He liked to have fun, but
Yeah.
if you messed with him, or like if you were being a
Disrupted.
dick, he just wasn't about it. He would tell you or tell you what for, and send you on your way. Well, it was like towards the beginning of the year, there was a kid in our class that had been in a wheelchair because he was in a dirt bike accident. Which this is not the only time he had like broken bones doing this. But they were doing roll call, and one of his buddies had a voice crack when he said present, and he made fun of him for it. And the teacher, I don't know, just wasn't having it that day, and just told him, get out. He was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, get out. He told a guy in a wheelchair to get out of the classroom. He's just like, yep, get out.
And if you get, and I don't know if you guys know exactly who he's talking about, like you younger too. I'm sure Cam does,
I
but
think
think
I
I
do,
know.
actually.
but
For
he
sure.
deserves every single bit of that.
The
Oh, yeah,
loud amount of
100%.
sound.
Yeah.
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 But I remember he was like, so where do I go? He's like, just get out. He wasn't giving him any more information, but just get out. He didn't care.
Your voice cracked. To the shadow realm with you.
Shadow.
No, but I wish he would have stayed around our entire high school
liked
career.
him.
He was cool. He was a lot cooler than the replacement that
Yeah.
we got. But
I didn't hate the replacement either.
Fuck
but
that guy.
Yeah.
He would sit all the girls right next to his desk and then all the guys on the other side. And then he would complain about how the guys weren't paying attention and that they were fucking off all the week.
And then he would flirt with the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did that
There was one class
more than
though.
a few times.
He put one of the more athletic, popular kids right next to his desk. And there was one time this kid got him talking for 45 fucking minutes. Nothing was taught that day. And like, he legit looked up at the clock and he was like, fuck, we were supposed to do something today. Like, something important. And we didn't.
So
I think
I
I remember
remember with that teacher, I took a current events class, and a lot of like politics gets talked about in that class. And I'm gonna keep it vague, but everybody in that class was on one side, and there was one student that was on the other side.
And we all
Yeah,
know who
Gabe and I
that
were
was.
in
And
that
that
class as
one
well.
student was kind of a loudmouth. And so he would just blabber on about politics that no one else agreed with, and everybody would just like not say a word. Occasionally somebody would argue back a little bit, and that would be like the end of it. I remember she was sick one day and we started talking about politics and not a single person said a word. And she was like, or our teacher was like, come on, guys. The one day you guys can talk without being made fun of or yelled at, and you guys won't say a word.
Was that sophomore or junior year?
That would have been your junior year because I was in
Yeah.
that class as well.
Was
It was a
that?
fun class.
Was I in that class?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the three of
Yeah.
us were in that
Okay, I
class.
know who you're talking about. The
I didn't realize you were in that class.
This is the
Yeah.
same girl that I got in an argument match with at our senior camp out. and I was
Okay.
told to
Was
be
not-
No, it's
quiet.
not.
no,
It's
this,
not.
this one was in the right above us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, her and I got into some spars.
Do you remember when? Shoot, it was during football season. Remember that? But the kid from earlier, NA, would sit. He sat behind me, and he would answer every question, whether it was close or not even close, to correct at all with radical Islamic terrorism.
Oh, no.
So it got to the point where we had like these little mini tests, like every Friday or something. It was like 5 points. It just went over some general things we went over in the week. And he put radical Islamic terrorism for every answer, and then when he got it wrong, he'd argue about it. So it'd be like, "Who was the 15th president of the United States? Radical Islamic terrorism." And she'd be like, "Nate."
I'll believe it.
All
Don't
right,
worry.
like, hey, that's wrong. And like, no, here's why. And then he'd be like, so, I mean, when this guy was president, right, there were Muslims, right? And she was like, yeah, they've been around for thousands of years. Like, well, I bet you there was a Muslim terrorist.
No, I remember my advanced government class. He was in that with me.
Yeah.
And I remember we had. Do you remember that assignment where we had to like each group took a side of a conspiracy theory or
Yep.
whatever? We were on the side that Hitler lived,
Oh, jeez.
and I remember there was a girl in our grade that was very much like had to be right, otherwise,
Yes.
yes, she had to be right all the time.
Yep.
And we each got assigned like certain slides to provide evidence. And I just remember his slides were about him going to Argentina and starting a space program.
He get a picture. I remember this.
he would go on about how Hitler's on the moon, reinstating the Nazis, trying to take over the Illuminati or
Yeah.
whatever.
He's on the moon.
I did my project on that over the flying spaghetti monsters.
Oh,
So
yes, I remember that. Oh, that was awesome.
I got a C.
No, I just remember I got an A because I found a museum that did documentation on the skull they found or whatever, and it was actually proven. It was supposedly proven. I don't know if it was 100%.
I think it was a woman's skull.
Yeah, it was
actually.
a woman's skull
Mhm.
that they claimed was Hitler's skull.
Mhm.
And I remember pulling up like multiple sources for it, and the one girl that was against us was very much yelling at me. Like,
Newsflash: Hitler was transgender.
imagine how much of like a worldwide shock that would be if
Yeah.
Hitler was actually transgender.
There would be no more transgender people.
Oh no.
If you're
Trans people are
transgender,
literally
guess you're not.
okay.
So like,
Okay, this is funny that we're talking about Hitler. So, I was
Okay.
Funny you should ask.
speaking of Hitler,
I was listening to a podcast yesterday at work, and it's called Two Bears, One Cave. It's with Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura. And those guys, for each other's birthdays, they get each other like stupid expensive gifts. And then over time, it just got to the point where it was just too much. They needed to like lower it back down a little bit. Well, it was currently Bert's birthday recently, and Tom got him a fucking teacup that was 99.9% proven to be used by Adolf Hitler. I thought that was so fucking funny because he was getting shit about being like a Nazi or whatever, and he just thought it was the funniest fucking thing. He said he had to buy it off the black market to get that shit.
Oh my
That
gosh.
doesn't surprise me at all.
Ugh. Yeah, my one that I want you to tell these guys
All right.
dialysis.
Oh, okay. So our senior year physics class, Brennan was in it because he's a smart cookie. So we're sitting there, and our one buddy wanted to leave class early, just wandered the halls, and it was like the last class of the day. So at like 15 minutes after the class started, he's like, "Hey, yo, teach, I gotta leave. I gotta pick my cat up from dialysis." And he was like, "Well, all right, go on ahead." Nah, I mean, first he was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, he had a heart attack," which to those listeners who aren't medically acknowledged yet, renal failure causes need to go to dialysis. So your kidneys are messing up. Therefore, you need to go to dialysis, get your blood filtered. Nothing to do with the heart. Like, so he's like, "Yeah, my cat had a heart attack. It's on dialysis. I got to leave early, pick him up." And at the end of it, he's like, "Well, all right, go." So he went outside and stared through the little slot in the door for like 5 minutes, and then came back in. It's like, "Oh yeah, no, he's fine." It's like, "Well, I'm glad you're back."
He just did whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
To do.
So another time, that was like April or May. It was very late in the senior year. We were on the computer supposedly doing homework, and what they were doing is that group of friends had a senior trip to Panama. So they were looking up things to do in Panama, and they found a entertainment facility by the name of it's like Golden House or something like that, and it's a strip club. So they're looking up like pictures of the outside of this strip club, and he goes, "Ashby, you got to go to this Golden House restaurant." And they're like, "Well, is it family friendly? We're going down to Florida this summer." Like, "Oh yeah, super family friendly." And he goes, "Well, I'm going to look into it." And then everyone's like losing their crap out of it because all the students know it's a strip club, and the teacher's like thinks it's a family restaurant. And we're like, "Hey, teach, you don't want to go there." And he's like, "Well, why not?" Because he goes, "It's a strip club." And he goes, "Guys, you shouldn't be looking on that when you're supposed to be doing homework."
You notice how he wasn't against it beforehand?
Yeah.
Well, boys.
You mentioning the that story reminds me the teacher that listen here. The teacher that taught the current events class previously gets to class one day, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but he just starts off by going, "So, anybody got any topics to talk about today?" Nobody said anything. It's like, "All right, so why don't we talk about why the McChicken is trending on Twitter?" Does anybody remember why the McChicken was trending
Yeah.
on Twitter?
Oh my God.
And everybody in the class goes, "No, you do not want to talk about that." He goes, "Yes, I want to talk about this."
Was it because somebody was jizzing in the fucking?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
he was using McChicken
Using it to jerk off.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had to explain to the teacher why we couldn't talk about it, but in that case, you had to talk about it to explain it. So,
He knows self-pleasure. Yeah. He was doing that with McChicken. Oh.
Yo,
Mans was
teach,
fitting
why
to
do
have
you
a
think the
baby.
McChicken is Twitter trending?
apparently, he didn't look too far into it.
Because
No,
it's
you would
delicious.
think if you are running a current event class that you would look into the current events that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
That man probably went to McDonald's the day before, saw that they raised the price of a McChicken from $1 to $1.07 and was pissed about it. Wanted to tell his students about it.
For fucking 7 cents.
Well, it's been a very good episode.
I like this
I've
I've really
episode.
enjoyed this
I think this is like
episode.
one of my favorite episodes right now.
All right.
Been good to have you, Cam.
It has been
Thanks for having me. If you ever
It's
want me
been
back,
nice
let
to
me
hear
know.
Somebody else's voice besides Brady fucking talk for an hour.
Listen here.
Does that remind you of another story?
Hey,
Hey, what?
Simmons, that reminds me of.
So that reminds me of this one time.
It all reminds me of a one time. Okay.
But do we have anything else currently? Cam, Brennan,
Not right now. My brain's fried.
I don't have anything.
Talked myself out.
Well, boys, I say we call her.
On that note,
Don't forget to follow Brady's YouTube at